you're. Okay, so we need to let in the parties on Connie Gooding Wilson. All right, Eileen, let's let in the participants for the first case, please. Is there an attorney? Joel Norris?
Judge, I'm not too sure who the attorney is on
Joel,
this one. I have,
Joel Norris is the attorney. Do you not have a docket?
oh no, I do, but I don't see him, but I have a Jeanette.
Last name?
Golubovic. I don't know if
Well,
she's standing in for him.
you can bring them in and ask them.
Okay.
Ms. Wilson, do you know if your attorney Joel Norris was going to appear this morning?
I'm not sure which attorney was going to appear, but I know that the name that she just spelled out is it's Norris and Golubovic.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Then I think that person is present.
Okay, I'm letting them in.
All right, good morning. You're in County Court at Law 2 in San Patricio County. My name is Vicki Martina. I'm the presiding judge. The court is calling cause number 23-PR-14896-B in the estate of Connie Gooding Wilson, also known as Connie Marie Gooding Wilson, deceased. Miss Golubovic?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm appearing on behalf of Joel Norris today.
Okay, hold on. My court reporter's having issues hearing, so give me just a second.
All right.
It's all the way up. Is that better? Miss Wilson, if I could have you raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Are y'all ready to proceed to probate a will as a monument of title?
Yes, Your Honor. We have a holographic will as well. And I should have 2 handwriting witnesses.
Okay, who are those witnesses?
Guy Gabriel Gooding Collender is the first one. And the second one is Ronald Scott Collender. I'm not sure if they're on Zoom or not.
Okay, we will let them in. They're connecting right now.
Okay.
And I'm looking through my file and it seems that what you have provided, oh, there it is. There's the original. Okay. All right, Ronald and Guy, I need you to change your setting where it shows your.
Can you hear?
I need you to show the video, please, where I can see your faces.
Okay. You tell me how to, I'm sorry, I don't know how to do that one.
What does that say right
Well,
there?
Down, do you see the video camera? There should be
Click click the screen and you'll see a video camera.
Oh.
and you-
Miss
Sorry.
Wilson, please don't
sorry.
interrupt me. Okay,
Connection-
we're in a court of law. I can give the instructions.
Okay. I'm trying to find, I got you on the screen, Judge, and then I go to I swipe over and I've got Gabrielle, you, and another lady. And I don't see a camera, a video thing or anything.
Well, down at the bottom, did you unmute yourself down at the bottom of your screen? Eileen, there you go. Okay, I can see you now. But it just says connecting to audio. I'm thinking you don't have a great connection because it's showing that you're trying to connect to audio.
Well, I see you and I see you.
All right,
Yeah.
we can hear you. Okay, if you will raise your right hand, please. Do each of you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
All right, thank you. You can put your hands down. All right, Ms. Galubovic,
Yes,
you may proceed.
thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to call Guy Gabriel Gooding Collender.
Yes,
Yes.
All right, Your Honor, may I share my screen?
you may.
Thank you. Oh, it says the host has disabled screen sharing. Would
I-
you be able to put the will up? All right, Guy, can you please state your full name for the court?
Guy Gabriel Calendar.
And how did you know Connie Marie Gooding Wilson?
She was my sister.
So you've known her all your life?
Yes.
All right. The document that the judge shared earlier that's dated April 11th, 2021, which purports to be Connie's will. Can you confirm if that is entirely in her handwriting?
Yes.
And do you recognize her signature there at the bottom of the page?
It's not video. I don't see the video, but I know the document you're speaking of.
No, we can't do it that way. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Do you have it?
Yes, I showed it. I put it right. Can you
Well, I
see my face? Hold on, don't interrupt me. Can you see my face right now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm about to hold up a piece of paper where my face is.
Okay. Oh, yes, that's her handwriting.
All right, thank you. And to the best of your knowledge, was that will ever revoked?
No, I mean, to the best of my knowledge, no.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, I have no further questions for Guy.
Thank you. Your next witness.
All right, I'd like to call him Ronald Scott Collender.
Yes, ma'am.
And Your Honor, it looks like I can share my screen. Would you like me to do that?
Sure.
Okay. Hey, Ronald, can you please state your full name for the court?
Ronald Scott Calendar.
And how did you know Connie Marie Gooding Wilson?
She is my sister-in-law.
How long do you think you've known her?
Since approximately 1963.
So you were familiar with her handwriting, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you see the will that I have up on my screen here?
Yes, ma'am. I see it.
Is it the document? It's dated April 11th, 2021, which we purport to be Connie's will. Do you recognize and confirm that this is entirely in her handwriting?
Yes, ma'am. I do.
Okay, and the bottom of the page, are you able to see the signature there?
Yes, ma'am, I see it.
And can you confirm if that is her handwriting and her
Yes, ma'am.
sig?
Yes, ma'am, it's her handwriting.
Okay, and to the best of your knowledge, was this will ever revoked?
No.
All right, thank you. Your Honor, I have no further questions for Ronald.
Thank you. You may call your next witness.
Okay, I'd like to call Gabrielle Wilson.
Yes, ma'am.
Gabrielle, can you please state your full name for the court?
Gabrielle Ann Wilson.
All right, thank you. The decedent, Connie Gooding Wilson, is it true that she passed away on July 24th, 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it true that she passed away in Portland, San Patricio County in Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
Was she at the age of 79 at the time of her passing?
Yes, ma'am.
So based on the date of her passing, is it true that 4 years have not passed since the date of her death?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Is it true that Connie was a decedent and resident, was a resident and domicile with a fixed place of residence in San Patricio County in Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and can you see my screen as well?
Yes, ma'am.
This document that is dated April 11th, 2021, which we purport to be Connie's will, to the best of your knowledge, was that document ever revoked?
No, ma'am.
And to the best of your knowledge, were any children born or adopted by Connie after execution of the will?
No, ma'am.
And was Connie ever divorced after execution of the will?
No, ma'am.
And is it true that no state, governmental agency, or charitable organization is named as a devotee in the will?
That is correct.
All right. And is it true that Connie did not receive Medicaid benefits on or after March 1st, 2005?
That is correct.
Okay, and to your personal knowledge of the financial affairs of Connie's estate, does the estate owe any unpaid debt other than any debt that is secured by a lien on real estate?
No, ma'am.
And is it true that there is no necessity for administration of this estate?
That is correct.
Thank you. Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to ask that the court enter the will as amendment of title only. And I have no further questions.
All right. After hearing the testimony, the court finds that it has jurisdiction and venue is proper in this court. The court further finds that the will dated April 11th, 2021 is a valid will and should be admitted to probate, and that there is no necessity for the administration of the estate. Therefore, the court admits the will of Connie Wilson dated April 11th, 2021 to probate as amendment of title only. And I will be signing that order. The order has been signed. I'm sorry for your loss. And I'll just remind you that, and your attorney will inform you that the sworn affidavit needs to be filed within 180 days of today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. May we be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you all for your presence this morning.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Judge Martino, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can. Mr. Welsh, good morning.
I'm glad to meet you.
Nice to meet you nice to meet you as well, sir.
Thank you.
I am going to call the first case that you have on my docket is 23-PR-14993-A in the estate of Thomas Mack Reeves.
Okay, let me. Okay,
And is Charles Reeves is your witness for this case? Is that correct?
yes, that's correct.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Reeves.
Good morning, ma'am.
May I have you raise your right hand, please?
Mhm.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. All right, Mr. Welsh, you may proceed.
Okay. Mr. Reeves, your name is Charles Wayne Reeves, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You're one of the children of Thomas Mack Reeves and Nora Kathleen Reeves. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Your father, Thomas Mack Reeves, died on less than 4 years ago, on May the 18th, 2023, in Corpus Christi, Texas, at the age of 78 years. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
At the time of his death, San Patricio County was his domicile and residence, he having lived there for many years. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you have with you a copy of the document dated August 27th, 1997, which appears to be his will. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So far as you know, that will has never been revoked. Is that correct?
Correct.
I've discussed with you what it means for there to be the need for administration of an estate. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And there is that need in this instance. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there was no child born to or adopted by your father after the date of that will. Is that correct?
Correct.
He was not divorced after the date of that will. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, his will named your mother, Nora Kathleen Reeves, as independent executor. But that if she could not act, then it appointed you as independent executor. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And your mother she died a couple of years ago. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Therefore unable to act in that capacity. Now, I've discussed with you what it means to be qualified to act as an executor. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you are so qualified. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think that's it, Your Honor.
To your knowledge, did the will leave anything to a government agency or nonprofit? Did your dad owe anything to Medicaid or Medicare?
No, not that I know of.
Okay, did you ask those questions, Mr. Welsh? Because I didn't recall those being asked.
I did not ask about
Okay,
the oddly enough, you have to put that into an application, but it is not part of the proof.
oh, okay, well, I learned something today. then.
I looked at it and I thought, why do you require it in an application and not make it part of the proof? I have no idea.
Well, I learned something today. Thank you.
I didn't mean it that way.
No, well, I'm never sad to learn something, especially since I'm so new at this. So I
If a
appreciate
day
it.
goes by without it, there's a problem.
That's right.
At least for me, anyway.
Okay, if there's nothing further, then after hearing the testimony, the court finds that it has jurisdiction and that venue is proper in this court. It finds that the will is a valid will and that Mr. Reeves is qualified to serve as independent administrator without bond. The court further orders that letters testamentary be issued. Mr. Welsh, is there anything further?
I think that's it in this one.
All right, then I will sign. I think you filed the order. We will need you did file the proof of death and other facts. I don't know if you're going to have your client sign that and then you're going to send it in.
That's what I'm going to do. Yes.
Okay, as well as the oath.
Yes, both.
All right.
I
Then,
always do that after the hearing.
yes, sir. Yes,
Because I've had them get signed before and then they
No.
get rejected.
it needs to be done after the hearing, which is correct. I just didn't know if y'all were going to come in and do it since they had already been filed, or if you'll do it and send them in.
That's what we're going to do.
Okay. And then once that happens, Mr. Reeves, you'll be able to get as many letters testamentary as you need.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I am sorry for the loss of both of your parents. I know we're not done here,
Thank you.
but I have signed the order admitting the will to probate in this cause. And I will get the file on the next cause and we'll take care of that one. The court is calling cause number 23-PR-14994-B, in the estate of Nora Kathleen Reeves. Mr. Reeves, Charles Reeves, you are still under oath. I don't find a need to swear you in again. And Mr. Welsh, you may proceed.
Okay, is your name Charles Wayne Reeves?
Yes, sir.
And you're, again, one of the children of Nora Kathleen Reeves, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
She died less than 4 years ago on August 1, 2021 in Portland, Texas, at the age of 74 years. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Her domicile and residence was, again, San Patricio County, she having lived there for many years. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You have with you a copy of her will dated August 27th, 1997. So far as you know, that will has never been revoked. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, I've again discussed with you the need for administration of an estate,
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
and there is that need. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
There was no child born to or adopted by her after the date of the will. Is that correct?
Correct.
She was not divorced after the date of that will. Is that correct?
Correct.
In reverse, your mom appointed your father as executor. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you as an alternate. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And your father had died a couple of months ago, and is therefore unable to act in that capacity. I've discussed with you what it means to be qualified to act in that capacity. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you are so qualified. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll just do it. There's no state or governmental agency or charitable organization named in his will. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. I think that's it, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Welsh, thank you very much. After hearing the testimony, the court finds that it has jurisdiction and venue as proper in this court. The court further finds that the will of Nora Kathleen Reeves dated August 27th, 1997 is a valid will. The court admits the will to probate. The court further finds that Charles Reeves is qualified to serve as independent executor administrator without bond, and orders that letters testamentary be issued once the proof of death and other facts and the oath are signed and filed.
Yes.
All right.
Hey, listen, thank you very much for hearing us both.
Yes,
sir.
thank you.
Absolutely. Again, Mr. Reeves, I'm sorry for your loss and I wish you well. Mr. Welch, nice to meet you and I hope to
Thank
see you
you. And
again.
likewise.
All
Thank you
right.
very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. You both have a good
Okay.
day.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Let's see.
I'm not able to get that. I need help, Sarah. Okay, I need to get on. The court's here and I can't put myself on. Can you help me? I think that the court is there. Am I off mute?
Yeah, if you'll mute while you're taking care of that, and then we'll unmute you once you get it taken care of. Thank you. All right, do we have everyone present? There's someone present whose face I cannot see.
This is Michelle Zeller and my brother Michael Zeller.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. Is that, no. Okay.
Oh, yeah, why don't you? Okay.
Cheryl, there she is. Okay.
Why don't you disconnect yours? Okay.
I think we're all here, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, everyone is present. Our ad litem, I think we just let her in.
Yes, Judge, I'm here.
All right. The court is calling cause number 20-PR-14342 in the estate of Linda Marie McNamee, deceased. If I can have all the witnesses who intend to testify, raise your right hands, please. Do each of you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
All right, thank you. You can put your hands down. Okay, Miss Baker, how would you like to begin with this?
Yes, thank you so much, Your Honor. I'm glad we all made it into the virtual courtroom. That's probably the biggest hurdle. And what I would ask the court to do as you consider the judgment declaring heirship and also the appointment of an independent administrator is that I might be able to begin with the applicant, my client, Cheryl Shilley. And Ms. Shilley is on the screen. And then I will, of course, pass the witness to Ms. Torellis. And then I would like to go first to Michelle Zeller and then conclude with Mike Zeller.
All right, well, we will take it in that order then. Ms. Shelley, you have been sworn. Ms. Baker, you may proceed.
Yes, thank you. I'll direct my questions, Ms. Shilley, to you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, I can hear you too. That's good. Will you state for the court your full name, please?
Cheryl Janice Shilley
And where do you reside?
in Robertsville, Missouri.
And will you tell the court your address, please?
It's 769 Carmona Lane.
And that's there in Missouri where you're testifying from today. Is that correct?
Yes.
How are you related to Linda Marie McNamee?
She's my sister.
I'm sorry. Sometimes these hearings are very difficult. They bring closure. So I understand. Ms. Shilley, take your time. Will you confirm for the court that your sister passed away March 4th of 2020?
Yes.
Did she have a fixed place of residence in Ingleside, San Patricio County, Texas, at the time of her passing?
Yes. On Poinsettia Place.
And she was 75 years of age when she passed away. Is that correct?
Yes.
And did you make a thorough search to find a will?
Yeah, I did. I found one of my mother's and Linda's, but they weren't filled out. They were blank.
All right, so there is no will that you're asking the court to consider.
No,
At the time of her passing, was your sister a divorced woman?
no, her husband was deceased in 1998.
All right, so she was not married when she passed away, but she had been previously. Is that correct?
Yes,
Were there any children born of that marriage?
no. Linda never had any children.
All right. Did she ever bring any children into the home and raise them as though they were her own child?
No,
And did she ever adopt any children?
no,
And her one spouse, whom you've referred to, was John Joseph McNamee, who passed away in Washington State. Is that correct?
yes,
Prior to Linda's passing, did your and her mother also pass away?
yeah,
And did your father also pass away before Linda passed away?
yes. He passed away in 79.
Are you Linda's only surviving sibling?
To my knowledge, yes,
All right. And there was another child born to your parents, though, and that was Gail Diane Griffith. Is that correct?
yes. She lived about 2 days.
All right. And that she passed away back in 1947. Is that correct?
Yes,
And so you are Linda's only surviving and closest living relative. Is that correct?
yes. I'm her only relative.
In that degree of relationship, correct?
Yes,
But you have asked your, I guess you'd say your great niece or your cousins, Mike Zeller and Michelle Zeller, to testify to the family history today. Is that correct?
yes,
And you're also asking that the court consider appointing you to serve as the independent administrator of your sister's estate. Is that right?
yes.
All right, I'll pass this witness, Your Honor.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I have no questions. I believe Ms. Baker's covered everything.
All right.
All right.
Ms. Baker, your next witness.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to call Michelle Zeller.
Yes,
And in doing that, Ms. Zeller, will you state for the court your full name?
Michelle Leo Zeller
And where do you reside?
in St. Louis County, Missouri.
Is that where you're testifying from today?
Yes,
And can you tell the court how you are acquainted with or how you know or related to Linda Marie McNamee?
I am her second cousin.
And can you describe for the court how that relationship is determined through your mother and her mother?
Yes, my mother is Linda and Cheryl's first cousin.
I see. And do you have a special relationship to my client, Cheryl Shilley?
She is my godmother.
All right, thank you. Will you confirm some facts for the court? For instance, would you say that you are fully familiar with the family history of Linda Marie McNamee?
Yes, I am.
And was she actively involved in your life and you in hers during the term that you've been alive?
Yes, it's, as much as we could, living out of state or a lot of the time. But we would see each other on holidays and, when they were in town.
Are you aware of whether or not Linda ever had any children?
No, she did not.
Are you aware that she was married one time?
Yes.
Are you aware of any other marriages that she might have had other than that to John Joseph McNamee?
No, that's the only one I'm aware of.
And is it also true that that marriage ended by his passing and not by divorce, as I incorrectly suggested earlier? He passed away.
He passed away. That is correct.
And did Linda ever marry after he passed?
No, she did not.
Right. Are you aware that other than Linda McNamee, the decedent in this matter, and Cheryl, that their parents had one other child, that being Gail Diane Griffith, who passed away in infancy?
Yes, that's correct.
Are you aware of any other children in that family?
No, I'm not aware of any other children.
Right. And are you aware of any will that Linda McNamee may have left?
No, not to my knowledge.
All right, I'll pass this witness, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yes, Miss Zeller, you don't have any interest in this estate whatsoever, do you not?
I do not.
Whether it's financial or other benefit, is that correct?
That is correct.
I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Baker, you may call your last witness.
Yes, and my last witness, Your Honor, is Mike Zeller. Mr. Zeller.
Good morning.
Good morning. Will you state for the court, please, your name and your address?
Michael Francis Zeller, 5835 Neosho Street.
Where-
I think I lost that.
Yeah, something has happened with Mr. Zeller's audio.
Can you hear me now?
That's much better.
Okay, thank you. I'll start over. Michael Francis Zeller, 5835 Neosho Street, St. Louis City, Missouri, 63109.
And you are in that area right now.
Yeah, I'm actually at my sister's house in St. Louis County, about 10 miles away. Correct.
Right. And so how are you related to Linda McNamee?
She is my second cousin and my godmother.
And your godmother. So were you in constant contact with Linda during
Yes.
her lifetime and during
Yes.
yours? Obviously, you're younger.
Correct. Quite a bit of the year she did live in Texas, and we were up here. So sometimes it was just during holidays and emails and a few phone calls. Correct.
But would you say that you are fully familiar with her family affairs?
Yes. Yes.
And her relatives and whether or not she had marriages or children?
Exactly. Yes.
So can you state for the court whether or not you are aware of any children that she may have had?
She did not have any children.
And you feel confident that that's a fact?
100%.
All right. And what about marriages? We've mentioned one
That's
marriage,
John.
John, and you were aware of that marriage.
Mhm.
And I guess you knew him during his lifetime as
Yes,
well.
I did. Mhm.
So he passed away in 1998.
Correct.
Did Linda remarry?
She did not remarry.
And did she bring any children into the home?
No.
Or adopt any children or raise any children?
No
as though-
children, no adopted children, and didn't bring anybody in. Correct.
Mr. Zeller, you're doing an awesome job of testifying. I'm just going to ask that you allow Ms. Baker to
Yes.
complete her question
Yes.
before you answer it. Okay? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Zeller. It is hard for the court reporter to distinguish when two people are talking, so I'll be aware of that too.
Okay.
Will you tell the court whether or not Linda's parents had both predeceased her?
They both had predeceased her. Correct.
And so her parents were Roscoe Edmund Griffith and Vera Margaret Furneaux. Is that correct?
For now, yes, that's correct.
For now. And they were both, they both passed away before Linda. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Other than my client Cheryl, did Linda have any other siblings?
Other than the child that died right after birth in 1947.
And no other siblings.
No other siblings.
All right. Do you happen to know if Linda passed with a will?
My understanding, she did not have a will.
Right. And as Ms. Torellis asked you appropriately, are you promised any financial remuneration, or do you expect anything to benefit you from this estate?
I do not expect anything from the estate.
Right. Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
Thank you, Ms.
Oh.
Terrell.
Yes, I have no questions for this witness. I believe Ms. Baker covered all the points.
All right, thank you. Ms. Baker, do you have any further witnesses this morning?
I do not, Your Honor. That concludes our presentation.
All right, Ms. Terrellis, do you have any witnesses or do you have any statement you'd like to make to the court?
No, Your Honor, as stated in my report, I spoke to the disinterested witnesses, to the applicant, and I did a review of, some websites to see if I could find any birth or death certificates for any of their children or heirs, and I found nothing. And I believe that the applicant is the only known living heir, and I'm okay with the judgment I've presented to the court, the judgment declaring heirship.
Okay, well, then I am going to find that Miss Shelley is the only heir of Miss Linda Marie McNamee. Ms. Terrellis, do you have a request as to an ad litem fee?
We discussed $750, and I believe Ms. Baker said that was okay.
Is that correct, Ms. Baker?
Yes, Your Honor, we're in agreement.
Okay, then the court's going to order that Ms. Terrellis receive $750 for her services, excuse me, and that those be paid out of the assets of Ms. McNamee.
Your Honor, if I may address that, of course, my client will await her letters in order to be able to access the funds of this estate. And of course, we will assist her in doing that as quickly as possible. And then she will be paying Mr. Ellis's fee from those assets. And typically, I mean, we would hope it wouldn't require 30 days, but I think it is not unusual for the court to allow 30 days for my client to be able to get that together.
I understand, and I'm sure that Ms. Terrellis also understands that sometimes it takes a little while to get the paperwork and to get access to the funds.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so let's see. All right, so I'm going to find that after hearing the testimony of the witnesses that the court has jurisdiction and venue is proper in this court. As previously stated, Ms. Shelley is the only heir. I'm finding that Ms. Shelley is qualified to serve as independent administrator of the estate and that she do I have to order a bond?
As an independent administrator, Your Honor, the court allows, as long as all of the beneficiaries
I'll go into
agree.
her. That's right.
So she's it. Yes, I'm sorry, I can't give you the verse, but I know the court knows that anyway.
You're correct. To serve without bond. I am signing the order authorizing letters of independent administration and the judgment declaring heirship. Also receiving into the file the report of the attorney ad litem for the unknown heirs.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. I appreciate your time. Miss Shelley, I'm sorry for your loss and I wish you well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor. May we all be excused then?
You may all be excused. Have a
Thank
good
you
day.
very much.
Thank you. Michelle and Michael.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Do the black, what's the red?
Well, it's not showing us anymore either.
Device.
Good morning. This is San Patricio County Court at Law 2. I'm Vicky Martino, the presiding judge. The court is calling cause number 23-PR-14998-B in the estate of Novelette Jean Yocum. Good morning, Mr. Burnett.
Now you can talk.
Okay, Judge, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Mr. Burnett. How are you this morning?
This is my executor and my witness. If she could be sworn when you're ready.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. If you'll raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
And your name is Jocelyn Etty?
yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down. Thank you very much. Mr. Burnett, you may proceed.
Thank you. Your name is Jocelyn Eddy, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And Novelette Jean Yocum was your aunt.
Yes, sir.
And when did she die?
On March 13th, 2023.
Okay. And that hadn't been 4 years ago, of course, has it?
No, sir. Y'all talk a little like louder.
Did she have a domicile or fixed place of residence in San Patricio County, Texas at the time of her death?
Yes, she did.
Okay, her death certificate, I believe, says she lives in Rockport, and I believe at your address. Was she over there when she died?
Yes, sir.
Okay, she owned a house, did she not, here in Sinton?
Yes, sir.
And she didn't sell the house or abandon it, is that correct?
No, sir.
Why was she in Rockport?
For her health reasons, her health would not allow her to live in Sinton by herself. So she was in a nursing facility.
Okay, and you were taking care of her?
Yes, sir.
All right. The will names Gunslow Millet Jr. and Burl Grace Charles and you as joint independent co-executors of her estate.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is Mr. Millet and Mrs. Charles both deceased?
Yes, sir.
Did they die before Mrs. Yocum?
Yes, sir.
And the will doesn't name a alternate for them, I believe, does it?
No, sir.
So you're the only one left.
that's named as an executor.
Yes, sir.
And you're the person that's asking to be appointed executor in this proceeding. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're neither a minor nor an incompetent nor a convicted felon nor a non-resident nor a corporation. Is all of that correct?
Yes, sir.
Let me show you a copy of the paper which we claim to be Mrs. Yoakum's will. Did she revoke that as far as you know?
No, sir.
Did she have a child born or adopted after the date of it?
No, sir.
And was she divorced after the date of it?
No, sir.
And her husband predeceased her?
Yes,
Is that
sir.
correct? That was Houston Yoakum Jr., and he died in 2001. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Judge, unless you have a question, I have nothing more.
No, Your Honor. Your Honor. No, sir, Mr. Burnett, I do not. After hearing the testimony of the witness, I find that the court has jurisdiction and that venue is proper. I further find that this will is valid and I admit it to probate. I find that Miss Eddy is qualified to serve as independent administrator of the estate without bond, and I order that letters testamentary issue.
Thank you, Judge. We will have the proof and the oath signed and filed by e-filing.
Okay,
If I-
that will work perfectly. Once you do that, Miss Eddy will be able to get the letters that she needs.
Thank you a lot, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Burnett. Miss Eddy, I'm sorry for your loss, and I
Thank you.
wish you well.
Thank you.
All right, you may be excused. Nice to see you both.